Welcome back to this episode of Grassroots Rising. I'm your host, Jimmy Skogard. And in this episode, I want to explore the question that sits at the very heart of our community. What do we owe each other in a free society? To me, the answer starts with willpower, the will to show up. I believe we owe each other a commitment to participate in the electoral process because this is the exact mechanism we use to decide how we allocate the resources that move from one person to another and from place to place. There's a cost of silence. The central conflict in politics is often about power, especially who gets to sit in the seat of authority and distribute those resources. If that distribution happens without integrity or character, every single one of us ends up suffering. I believe that when a specific individual or a single party tries to monopolize resources for their own benefit, it is something I must resist, and I hope you will too. I want to keep the conversation going to maintain a healthy balance, and that requires constant input from all of us. So I built a proof of concept. That's why I'm scaffolding a survey page and various digital assets as proof of concept. It's designed to gather responses from registered voters and even from those who just want to browse and look at the stuff. I still want the responses. I want to see folks participate because I know how easy it is to be a disinterested user. For a long time, that was me. I just sat back, consumed politics, and assumed everything was going to be fine. My perspective changed. My perspective changed when I started to see a vilification of people who did not have a voice, and those folks were mainly immigrants. The vilification of that group of people felt wrong to me. And it was a spark that drove me to get involved. I decided that my method would be to reach out to everyone because I believe everyone deserves a voice in our future. So what is the civic obligation for a citizen? I did a little research and I determined that civic obligation I'm trying to figure out what it truly entails in a free society. I found that keeping a society free requires more than just following the law. It requires an active defense of the structures that protect us all. First, we have to have political vigilance. What I mean is, I believe we have a duty to understand how our government functions, and then to intervene when it oversteps or fails. Secondly, we need equitable resource management. I want to ensure that the pie isn't just divided among the powerful, but shared in a way that respects the dignity of every resident. And thirdly, we need to use modern tools. We now have the technology to make representation a two-way street. I have the will to implement these tools, and I'm putting them up in the public domain for free because I want this idea to take on a life of its own. So I make a promise to Wyoming. I'm going to represent you in the Senate. I need to know exactly how and what your voice sounds like. I want to represent everyone in Wyoming, which means giving you the space to weigh in on everything from the most divisive topics to the most regular everyday issues. We owe it to each other to stay engaged, to stay honest, and to keep building a system where no one is left without a voice. So here's our call to action, folks. If you have felt that politics has become something done to us instead of something built by us, then it's time to rise up and take our place at the table. Register now. Make sure you vote. Show up. Participate in the surveys. Join the conversation. Tell us your story. Help build the tools that will let Wyoming speak for itself. Because agency means the ability to decide our future for ourselves. We still hold that power, but only if we use it. Our children and our grandchildren's legacy is in our hands now. Please join the movement at skogard2026.org. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.